How's it going, class? Okay, today we're going to be doing area of a circle. That's what we're going to be studying. This is section 9.2 in your textbook, area of a circle. Yesterday we went through perimeter of polygons and circumference of a circle. And a lot of you had questions. I had just answered a really good question just right now from the camera woman who said, what is the perimeter of a circle? And I said, you know what, that's an interesting question, but you learned it yesterday, you just didn't realize you were learning it. Perimeter of a circle is what, Claudette?
Circumference.
Very good job. Excellent job, camerawoman. Okay, here we go. As you see, I have my little image of myself with the gray beard and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, that doesn't matter, right? So today, area of a circle, essential question, how can you find the area of a circle? And the student will be able to create drawings that illustrate the area of a circle. All right, so now we'll move on to the next slide. As you see, this is a blind, so I'll pull the blind down. And the formula for finding the area of a circle, as the smartboard doesn't work that well, is area of a circle is going to be pi times the radius squared. Now, yesterday, when we were doing circumference, we worked with the diameter of a circle. The diameter of a circle goes all the way across through the midpoint. The radius is just halfway. You guys know that. You've been doing that forever. Of course, I know a lot of you with circumference learned it as 2 pi r, no problem. But the way I like to teach it, I like to think of when you're doing circumference, you're using the diameter. When you're working with area, you're working with the radius. Now, you always learned it like this, pi times the radius squared. Okay, I'm just going to add one thing to it, which isn't necessary, because if you know order of operations, you're going to do the exponent before you do the multiplication, right? It goes parentheses, exponent, and then the rest. But just for visual purposes, I'm going to show you this right now, that you want to make sure, I have to put my finger up here to make it work apparently. Let's see, hold on. Let's see. No. It's going to work. There you go. So I want to make sure you understand that you have to do the radius squared first, then you multiply by pi. Now, a lot of you might have the question, but wait, what if they give us the diameter first? I'll give you a second to write that down, and then I'll probably pause it in real life now, and we'll go back. Here we go. So I'm going to erase this. I'm actually going to just go to a new page. All right, so one thing you have to remember is that if they give you the diameter, my rudimentary circle there, if they give you the diameter as being 8 meters, you have to realize that you have to make it, for your formula, you have to use the radius, which is going to be just, pretend that that looks good, 4 meters, right? So very important, when you're doing area of a circle, if they give you the diameter, you have to make it into the radius, and then obviously, I made that into the radius, I'm going to erase this, and our formula would be pi times the radius squared. So it would be pi times 4 squared, and then that would be, I'll try to do it over here, pi times 16. Here we go, sort of. There, no, so it's okay, I'll just go to a new page. Pi times 16. And then, you can use your calculator to find out what that is exactly. I happen to have a trusty calculator right here. I'll put in 3.14 for pi, if that's all right. I'm not going to put the whole thing, 3.1415. We'll approximate it as 3. Everyone's laughing a lot. You know that's going to get picked up on the audio. 3.14 times 16 equals, and all of you should have gotten, who got the answer? Raise your hand. Claudette, it's 50.24. Good job. Excellent job. 50.24. Now, I just want to prove a point. If you wanted to use 22 over 7 as pi, it would be 50 and 2/7. So they're close. They're very close. And I always like to say that when you use 3.14 as pi, it's a lesser value, because pi is greater than that. But if you use 22 over 7 for pi, it's a greater value. Because if I do 22 divided by 7 and make it into a decimal, I get 3.142. And you know that pi is 3.141. So, pi is in the middle of those two values. So it's funny to think about when we use pi as a number as 3.14 or 22/7, neither really shows what pi is. Okay, that's a big speech about pi, it doesn't matter. Now, if you have a circle, I'll just go to a new page. If I give you a circle, and I give you the radius as 3, now just 3. Easy, because they gave you the radius. So now when you want to do pi times the radius squared, you do pi times 3 squared, simple, pi times 9, and then you would do pi times 9. Where's my trusty calculator? I'll use 3.14 times 9, and I get 28.26. Now, this is important. I didn't show you this before. It's 28.26, going to a new page, 28.26. Now, question. I didn't show you this before, it was my fault. On the previous example, I left out a major point, that this is area. So you have to show it as square units, right? So in this example, if you remember, I didn't give you a unit. It just said 3. So in that case, you have to write this as 28.26 square units. Sorry, my smart board's acting up. Square units, right? Or units square. And the previous example, I forget the answer. I think it was 50.24, but I'm not sure. And did I give meters? I think I said meters, but I'm not sure. So it's going to be meters squared. A lot of times when you use units in the metric system, like meters, centimeters, kilometers, you'll put meters squared, kilometers squared. When it's customary units like inches, yards, America, United States, we're one of the countries that we said, when I was a kid, now I'm an old man now of 96, but when I was a kid, they told us in school, you better learn the metric system because by the time you make it to high school or college, you're going to be using the metric system. Well, you know what? All those people were kind of wrong because we still use inches, yards, feet, and we're one of the only countries that do that. All the Europe, when I go visit my family in Ireland, they use kilometers, they use meters. They have a weird system for measuring weight, though. You know how we say pounds? They over there use stone. So it's kind of like 16 pounds, I think, is a stone. I guess they used to weigh people by how many stones they weighed. Anyway, that has nothing to do with what we're doing today. So that's tangential, and I'm on a little tangent. Anyway, so if it was in inches or yards, you usually say square inches, square yards. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure teaching you about area of a circle. The one thing, before I end, the one thing I left out is just to see that if I drew a circle, what am I talking about when I say area? Because it's not like a rectangle, right? You have like, it's hard to get an exact, hold on, I want to get lines. This, I guess I'll use this. So, you're going like, you're thinking that it's more like you're measuring little boxes within, right? And obviously these are not equidistant apart. I'm doing a horrible job here. But you get my point, that you're measuring how many little boxes are within that. Let's not talk about this because this is a horrible piece of work. But I digress. It was a pleasure. Claudette, you can get us out of this, and thank you for being my camerawoman. And listen, learn about area of a circle. Peace!